Like the sweep, the loft feature is useful in creating geometry that is difficult, if not impossible to create with extruded and revolved features. Also, like the sweep, the loft requires at least two separate sketches to create. The main difference between the loft and the sweep is that the loft allows the use of different shaped cross-sections, like the transition between the rectangle and the circle you see here. Before we can use the loft feature, we have to create two sketches. Switching to the sketch toolbar, I'll start by inserting a sketch here on the top plane, sketch a rectangle, and exit the sketch. Now I'll create a plane that is offset from the top plane. The subject of creating planes is discussed in more detail in the Applied Features section. On this new plane, I'll sketch a circle and exit the sketch. Now you can see that the loft icon has become active, and the loft command in the drop-down menu is available as well. Here you see the settings for the loft. The first bit of information I'm asked for are the profiles I wish to use. All I have to do is click on the profiles, and you will immediately see a preview of the resulting loft. If I click the check at this point to finish the loft, this is what I get. Using the loft like this can be convenient when you encounter a design that calls for a specific profile on one side and a different profile on the other, without really caring about what happens in between. There are many other options when creating a loft, most of which are beyond the scope of this course, but there are a few you need to know. The start and end constraints are one we'll go over here. With these settings, I can control how the loft will transition from one profile to the other. For example, if I specify normal to profile as the start constraint, you will immediately see the effect this has on the geometry. I can also control how much of an effect this setting will have, either by dragging the arrow in the graphics window or by adjusting this value. If I also add an end constraint, the geometry can be controlled even more. If you notice the constraint being applied in the wrong direction, just click this button to change it. Also, you'll notice this line connected between 2 points on the loft sections. This segment is a connector that controls the geometry of the loft. I can move the connector to connect different sections of the profile sketches together, and you see the resulting geometry change. You can add more connectors by right-clicking on one of the profiles and selecting Add Connector. You can reposition the connectors by clicking and dragging the endpoints to control the loft geometry. There's one last option I'd like you to be aware of that comes into play when creating a loft that results in a closed shape. Here I have 4 individual sketches. As I pick each sketch to be used as a profile for the loft, you can see the preview updating. However, I want this loft to come back and close on itself to form a ring. If I come around and pick the first profile again, instead of closing, this profile will be unselected. The proper way to close the loft is to pick all the profiles like I did before. Then use the Close Loft checkbox in the Property Manager. Right away you can see the result I was looking for.